Well, UConn continues its pilgrimage through conference play, taking down Providence for the second time this season. How the Huskies bench stepped up big to help keep that perfect Big East record intact.
And whether three's a crowd or three's company, one UConn player had a record night, 3 points at a time. We'll recap the Huskies' win over Xavier, but first. The Huskies had a title to defend in the Connecticut Ice Tournament, and the Ice Bus left New Haven with familiar hardware. We'll look at how they pulled it off. Connecticut Game Week starts now. Single-digit cold and icicles on cars. That was the scene outside Gampel Pavilion. But inside, Ali Zabel was so on fire, her teammates had to fan her off. We have no place to put the snow, Alexa, but Ali Zabel decided to make it rain from three-point range. Welcome into Connecticut Game Week. I'm Sean Humphrey.
Would we make it snow from three-point range since it's that cold, right?
I don't know. Snow kind of moves a little bit slower. So
that's what we're learning. Us Florida kids are learning that. But it seemed like Gampel got louder and louder with each shot that fell. Who would have thought a midweek matchup would lead to Husky history? But with starting center Sarah Williams and star freshman Blanca Quinones ruled out, someone had to step up, and Ali Zabel did more than that. Her 10 three-pointers tied a program single-game record. Her 34 total points were the most any Husky has ever scored off the bench.
Oddly enough, Alexa, you mentioned Blanca and Sarah showing up on the injury report. We were having some little chats before the game, and it was actually a guy, Connor Sharp, with the Daily Campus at UConn. He said Ali Zabel was the person he expected to show up and show out. And while she felt the fire in her shooting hand, she still didn't quite know what she'd done until it was all over.
I had absolutely no idea. I didn't really know until Coach said it after the game. But honestly, like when you're shooting and they're going in, you just know like you're in that rhythm, I guess. But my teammates did such a great job of just finding me, and like you could tell like how happy they were, and just they got so much joy out of it. Clearly,
I thought it was the best thing ever. Like every time she hit a three, I think I put my hands up and was like running down the court, like celebrating. I was just so happy for her because she puts in so much hard work, and we see it every day in practice, and it's just so much fun to support her on a career night like that.
Yeah, a lot happening at Gampel this past week. Elijah Edwards, you can see her right there, scored more than 1,800 points and grabbed more than 1,000 rebounds in her 4 years at UConn. And before what ended up being a 97-39 win over Xavier, she became a Husky of honor. In her return to Storrs, she said the ceremony and recognition is just not about her.
It's not something that I worked to achieve, but to get this honor, it's amazing. And you know, it's more than just honoring myself, it's honoring my family as well, and then everyone who helped play a part for me to achieve it, so it's super cool.
And no, you are not looking at footage from a Pitbull concert. It's the front row of the UConn student section Tuesday night after UConn outlasted Providence 87-81. And what better way to soak up the win for Husky leader Dan Hurley than to be embraced by his own, you know?
How about that bald top dog? So you never thought I'd see the day. While Hurley was all smiles, as you can see there, he really enjoyed the Hurley head huddle.
And that moment was a great way to cap off Tuesday night's hard-fought battle against Providence. The Friars have been a challenge for the Huskies so far this year, and this past week was no different. Providence kept themselves well within reach of a win, and for UConn, they really struggled to maintain a sizable lead for a good portion of the game.
What saved the Huskies Tuesday night was the bench stepping up and center play.
Specifically that bench you mentioned, because Eric Ryba and Malachi Smith provided huge sparks on both sides of the ball midway through the first half to keep UConn out in front. Now, coming into Tuesday's date with Providence, the Huskies bench was only averaging 7.6 points through the previous 5 games, which does date back to that win at Providence just a few weeks ago. Ryba and Smith combined for 26 points. That double-digit effort kept the Huskies in the game, and then center Terrence Reed Jr. really put the game away in the final few minutes with some timely buckets and steals. And Coach Hurley noted that Smith's performance specifically Wednesday night was not only crucial in getting the win over Providence, but it also showed progression in his own play.
He guarded. He played with a lot of energy. He picked his spots well. he took good open shots. He had a good approach. And, we had a conversation with him, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, that we can't do this without you. And if he would have played the way he had been playing today, combined with just some of the other shooting woes we had on, I thought, a lot of open shots. And what's concerning is, we're missing a lot of open shots. But Malachi was, that was the positive development with the centers today. Minutes are the easiest thing to distribute. Like Malachi, coming into this has had a couple rough games where he's played 5 minutes. I think he's played 7 minutes. Magically, he played 29-37 today because when he was on the court, we were a plus 14, and he played very well.
Now, you heard Hurley say they're missing a lot of open shots. And as far as numbers go, UConn didn't have its best shooting effort against Providence, posting a 53.1 effective field goal percentage Tuesday night. Now, this has kind of been the story for UConn this season. Yes, UConn is winning, but there seems to always be an area that needs to be polished, whether it's fouling, missing shots. But Hurley says this is a monster that he's created. The UConn hoop standard is to go out on the court and absolutely clobber the opponent. And those types of victories have been hard to come by so far this year. But we've got about a month and change until the conference tournament and subsequently the NCAA tournament. And Hurley says that this team has a chance to be playing at the same level that 2024 championship team did.
Yeah, we've got issues to be a team that's destroying people right now, but we're good at winning. I don't know if there's ever been more consternation for a 20-1 team that's won 16 in a row. But this is the monster that we created. We've created it recently here at UConn. Obviously, at UConn basketball, the standards are high. But the monster that we created was obviously the 23 and 24 teams. The way, especially the 24 team, obliterated people. So everyone wants to see this 26 team play like the 24 team, and we're just not there yet. I think we got a chance to get there.
Well, the Huskies have a pretty big week of Big East hoops ahead of them. They travel to Creighton on Saturday, then come back home to host on Tuesday. Then they get 2 days off before a Madison Square Garden date against ranked St. John's on Friday at 8 o'clock. That game will air right here on Fox as well.
Scenes at the Connecticut Ice Final behind me. Our top dog is the Ice Bus, the UConn men's hockey team. The tournament final against Quinnipiac had excitement from both fan bases, crushing hits along the boards and plenty of goals to go around. And at the end of the night, the crowd at Ingles Rink saw the Huskies become tournament champions for the second consecutive year, and it all started with UConn on the penalty kill. How about a breakaway to break the ice? The captain, Tabor Heaslip, went 5 holes short-handed in the first period to open the scoring. In the second period, Quinnipiac came storming back with 2 unanswered goals to take a 2-1 lead. Then in the third, the equalizer from the Huskies, and this, the game-winning goal. Jake Percival scores his 6th of the season to take a 3-2 lead. In the third, it was Joey Muldowney who put the icing on the cake with an empty netter to seal the deal. And by the time the horn sounded, the celebration was on. The captain again lifting the CT Ice trophy. The Huskies, back-to-back tournament champs, 4-2, the final score in New Haven. Alexa, I got to tell you, this one was a blast. I thought the Quinnipiac band was particularly entertaining. A lot of Bobcat faithful, you might call them. I'm not sure what their fan section is called, but they showed out in full force, and then eventually UConn got the win. Great game. You mentioned the Quinnipiac band. Was there a song they played that really just, stuck with you? Well, they played Get Ready for This by 2 Unlimited. You hear it often before UConn games. I heard it growing up as a Spurs fan, and hearing a marching band play that one was brand new to me. me. So I got to say, props to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Great coverage there for us from the CTI tournament.
Thank you, because I covered it,
Oh, yeah.
Well, this week you can call it a legacy matchup in Hartford. The two winningest programs in women's hoop meet in a top 15 showdown. We'll hear from Knoxville sports reporter Elijah Nixon about what he sees in this year's Tennessee team.
And also ahead, a play worthy of Sports Center. Some amazing stick handling, and another week, another honor for Sarah Strong. We're getting tired of saying those words every week. It feels like our best in show when Connecticut Game Week rolls on right after this.
All right, Best in Show presented by New Balance of Avon and South Windsor. And check this out. I could not believe my eyes when I saw this. Tia Chan slams the door shut with a diving save to keep Northeastern off the board. You'll believe it even less when you see it in slow motion. She goes backwards to knock the puck off the goal line and sweeps it away. An unbelievable effort. That was one of 31 saves she had that night. Northeastern later scored with just 15 seconds remaining to snatch the game from UConn.
Well, in that same game, Julia Pellerin decided to get a little fancy, flicking the puck in the air, and check out the hand-eye coordination here. She keeps it up in stride and an incredible show of stick handling. Didn't lead to a goal, but you'll sure want to watch it again.
Flipped it like a burger. How about that? The Big East might want to name this trophy after her. Sarah Strong earned Big East Player of the Week for the third consecutive week and sixth time this season. She averaged 20 points and 8.3 rebounds a game in 3 Husky victories. Freshman Blanca Quinones took home Big East Freshman of the Week honors, and that's the 6th time this season UConn has swept the weekly awards.
And NBA All-Star Weekend will see plenty of UConn representation. No shocker there. 4 Huskies will play in the Rising Stars tournament. Blazers center Donovan Clingan joins Spurs guard Stephon Castle, Grizzlies guard Cam Spencer, and Rio Grande Valley Vipers guard Tristan Newton, all teammates at UConn. Newton averages almost 27 points in the G League. All 4 are having stellar seasons so far.
Pass, Parker again. Watch out! Ha ha! Slam dunk in Hartford.
2007, the last time the Tennessee Lady Vols beat the Huskies on the road, but the history between these two programs goes back further than Candace Parker's rim rocker and monster performance almost 20 years ago. Sorry for making you all feel old. I was alive in 2007 myself. How about 7 matchups in the NCAA tournament, a third of UConn's titles, including its first in 1995? Wins over Tennessee, the 2 winningest programs in women's hoops, 20 titles between the 2 of them, and 2 of the most decorated coaches in the history of the sport. Now, the teams are set to meet again, with the Huskies looking to avenge last year's loss in Knoxville, their first to Tennessee since Candace Parker's 2007 team beat the Huskies in Hartford. To talk more, let's bring in Elijah Nixon. He's a sports reporter with our sister station in Knoxville. Elijah, the rivalry, the history, what does that bring to mind for you?
Ironically, Sean, I am from Connecticut, right? So I always thought in the rivalry between UConn girls and Rutgers basketball, when I got down here, people was like, no, Tennessee, we can't stand Gino Oriama. I'm like, what? I didn't understand it. But they explained to me very well that he was a big threat to Pat Summitt and where her legacy stands for. Not saying that her legacy isn't solidified, but he won just as much. So 2 winning programs are, I guess, quote unquote, not like each other for that instance. So it means a lot. I know last year Tennessee got the better half of them when UConn was up for usually with 3/4 of basketball. Now this year they get to go to stores and try to go to win 2 in a row. It's going to be tough, but I think that the rivalry is going to be there for years to come, and I think this one is going to set up a good game for the future between these 2.
4 Lady Vols scoring in double digits, but none of them pushing past 15 points per game. Nobody shoots over 35% from 3, but yet only 3 losses for this Lady Vols team. How are they producing the way they've been? Is it the fast break that's kind of opening things up for them?
They are one of the teams that their offense generate a lot off the fast break. I'm happy you said that. They get a lot of steals, Sean. They get a lot of steals, and then they turn those turnovers into points. What I like about it, especially with Talasia Cooper, who's been named as one of the finalists for Defensive Player of the Year, she could get into a passing lane, disrupt the rhythm of an offense, and then after that, they could just go. What I like about this matchup is that UConn runs too. So you're not just gonna get easy basket every time. They as you've seen in the past, even with Fudd last year and Page, they ran in the lanes, and now this year they all run for UConn. And so it's going to be interesting of how they can set up a half-court offense this week. It will be the extra pass is going to play a lot into what the Lady Vols can do, and if they can't make the extra pass and get easy buckets against the Huskies, it's going to be a very, very tough matchup.
All right, Elijah, last one. You mentioned Tennessee gets a lot of steals, but UConn is 4th in the country in that stat as a team. So what do you think Tennessee does to kind of break the press and keep the game close?
I think it comes with Kim Caldwell's substitution strategy. I don't know if you know it very well, but they usually try to get fresh legs out there as much as possible. And with this very young team, we would like to see how that's going to work against UConn. But she likes to get fresh legs out there. So, it'll be 4-minute spurts where another substitution is coming and they'll go, and another substitution will come, and another substitution will come to get fresh legs out there. So we'll see how that works out for UConn and how they'll handle that, because Tennessee, that's what their best thing to do. They love to get fresh legs and get a fresh set out there. Breaking the press is going to be something that UConn's seen all year. And they, like I said, they play the same way. So it's like they're going against it in practice. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But Lady Vols love to get fresh legs out there. So that's going to be, I think, what Kim Caldwell will say is a difference for her.
Hey, Elijah, well, thank you. We're looking forward to the matchup. We'll catch you next time.
Well, the 2026 Winter Olympic Games in Milano Cortina are just days away, with the opening ceremony set for the 6th of February. Now, one former Husky hockey star will be amongst the pack sporting Team USA uniforms. And when we come back, we'll hear from that UConn standout and Buffalo Sabres star Tage Thompson on his journey to the Olympics.
Also, looking back at last weekend's snowstorm, many of you are used to these conditions, but we're both from Florida, and this was our first nor'easter. Our tales of digging out for the first time. My goodness. Connecticut Game Week continues right after this.
I think you grow up dreaming about playing in the NHL. I think every kid does, and you always watch the Olympics, and sometimes I think that one seems a little far-fetched, representing your country and your flag, and I think that there's no bigger honor than that.
Yeah, for many young athletes, being selected to represent your country in the Olympics is the ultimate mountaintop. But for former UConn star Tage Thompson, that peak seemed out of reach until last year during the International Ice Hockey World Championships, when he played hero for the U.S. And that far-fetched dream of reaching the ice hockey summit is now a reality for Thompson after he was named to the men's hockey roster for Team USA for the 2026 Milano Cortina Olympic Winter Games.
It's kind of a bunch of emotions hit you at once. It doesn't really feel real. But it definitely felt like there was a big weight lifted off my shoulders. I'd been thinking about it for a while. So hearing that news kind of just gave me a big relief and felt amazing. It's awesome. Huge honor. I mean, anytime you get to wear your country's flag and represent your country, it's a big honor. And I think obviously doing it at the biggest stage means a lot to me. I've been dreaming about this for a long time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Now, this is not the first time the former Husky star will see action on international ice. Thompson has already cemented himself in hockey history thanks to this.
Thompson in, shoots, scores! Tage Thompson, golden goal! And the United States has won the World Hockey Championship for the first time in 92 years.
When he drilled the game-winning overtime goal for Team USA against Switzerland to help the United States capture their first gold medal in the International Ice Hockey World Championships since 1933.
I think helped prepare me for the Olympics a little bit, and I've done 3 of those now, and we were able to win gold this time, something that hasn't been done in a while. So going over there and getting the job done, was an awesome feeling. And there's no better feeling than winning, and doing it at that level was a pretty special feeling, especially doing it when it hasn't been done in like 92 years. That one felt really good, and I think gave me a lot of confidence, heading into this season.
And Thompson, as well as the rest of Team USA, will need that confidence as they look to secure gold for the U.S. in men's hockey for the first time since the Miracle on Ice in the 1980 Lake Placid Winter Games. Now, I also asked Thompson if he had heard from any of his former UConn teammates after the news, and he said a handful of them are actually in a group chat, and he added that they were pretty fired up for him, and his coaches all congratulated him as well. And the Olympic Winter Games in Milan are right around the corner with the opening ceremony set for February 6th. The U.S. men's U.S. men's ice hockey team is in Group C and will open against Team Latvia on February 12th, with the gold medal game set for the 22nd.
And still to come, we're breaking down matchups against the Musketeers, the Volunteers, and can you believe softball is still on the horizon? All of that and what we've learned from last weekend's storm. More Connecticut Game Week next. We're about to turn the page from January to February, which means we're inching closer, not just to basketball season, peak basketball season that is, but spring sports.
And speaking of, Husky fans will get their first taste of the next season of sports starting this week. So here's what's in stores. While spring hasn't really sprung, spring sports are on the horizon. We've been saying that. UConn softball will see its first action on the diamond in 2026, starting Friday with a 2-game slate. They're going to play in the Elon Softball Classic, taking on St. Joseph's at 9:30. Then they'll face that school at 2:30 p.m. And they will continue play Saturday and Sunday as well. As far as polls go, the Huskies were picked to finish second in the Big East in the coaches poll.
And from Elon to the Musketeers, UConn men's hoops stays in CT this week to host Xavier. That game is at 7 p.m. Tuesday at People's Bank Arena. And then a major Madison Square Garden showdown is set for Friday at 8. UConn will face St. John's. That game will be right here on Fox.
And speaking of big basketball games, we've talked about it. The undefeated UConn women have a huge one Sunday, taking on number 17 Tennessee. Now, like we told you earlier, these are two of the most historic women's basketball programs in the country with a pretty established rivalry. That game will also be airing right here on Fox on a Sunday. Sean will get the pleasure of getting to cover that one. Very exciting. But we've had to cover other things this week, specifically the cold.
And other things have covered us, specifically the cold.
Yeah.
The snow has covered my car. Check this out. Check this out. This is what I call the Shonda Civic, and it's also ridiculousness. I could not believe what I saw. Like we've mentioned many times, we're both from Florida. That's what it looked like as I was digging my car out of the snow Monday morning. And frankly, Alexa, I feel it's offensive that this is happening to us.
I'm blessed. I have a covered parking garage at my apartment, so I didn't have to deal with this as many people did have to dig their cars out. I have done it before. It's not fun. So all my sympathies to you and to everybody else who had to do it. But I did get lucky that I have a covered parking garage.
I appreciate the sympathies.
Yeah.
I will pretend not to notice you talking about the covered parking garage, because you know what? It was a little bit fun because it was different, but the novelty might wear off pretty quickly.
I think it's worn off.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know what else to say. I guess we'll see y'all next week.